Live. Welcome to the process. It is Wednesday, December 1st. Wow. I don't know where these last 11 months have gone, but yeah, they're gone. So December is here. The process is here. 9-game NBA slate for tonight, coming off last night's 5-gamer. Couldn't quite get all the pieces together. Had enough Harden, had enough Paul. Ended up being a little lighter on Alec Burks, and that kind of stung. That was sort of like the chalk piece that I didn't have enough of that I needed. Is what it is. 2 into the top 150. Sorry, 2 into the top 1%. Again, that's fine. Better than none. You know, if it continues to be 2, that's helpful. But you know, you always want it to be a little bit more. I thought I had a lot of the pieces last night. It happens. You can't go crazy for it. So we're on to the next one. 9-gamer. If you haven't done it yet, and some of you probably have, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Wanted it yesterday. Wanted it. Had a couple bullets. Not there. Yeah, I had quite a bit of Metu. Had it actually before lock, and I would have liked to maintain most of that. Ended up getting to a little bit too much Terrence Davis, but now I was really happy with my exposures for yesterday. Actually, do I still have the table? Yeah, some of it's still there. I could look at it quickly, just let you guys know where I was. So I had 38% Harden on FanDuel. He was 25% owned, highest scorer. Chris Paul I had 24% of. He was 9% owned. That felt good. I was neutral on Randall. I was pretty heavy on AD, but I mean, in terms of like pay up options, he sort of got there. Got there as much as Durant did, I guess. But I 4x the field on Ayton. I was light on CJ, and like in the grand scheme of things, I'm not all that upset about that. There was a lot of guys in this 6 to 7 range that didn't matter all that much. I didn't have any Curry, so that was great. But Alec Burks was probably the best play from yesterday relative to salary, and I didn't have him. I just didn't have him. I obviously didn't expect him to play 39 minutes like he did. It didn't help at all that RJ Barrett went down. I don't totally know what that rotation was going to look like for Burks either way. Probably could have got up to 34 minutes, and if I did, I probably would have ended up getting to a little bit more, but I didn't have the best play of the slate, and that right there is gonna be a problem. But we are now on to the next one, which means, and I didn't really have any Nurk, so that helped too. Cheers to all of you. I got my coffee here right now. I'm excited to drink it. I'm quite thirsty. I hope that you guys do as well. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm out of it right now. Let's wake up. Give it the old slappy roo on the face. Cheers to you all. Good morning. I saw the coffee cups. I see all the good mornings in chat. It's great to see. If you've got your drink, grab yours as well. Rise and grind. See, we're getting there. We're getting there. Words aren't coming out as easy as I wanted them to. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Let's get this bad boy started. Bang. Transition here. How much rows did I have? None to my knowledge. No regrets there. I mean, RJ Barrett changed that entire game, so I don't want to like read into that too much. Derrick Rose. Yeah, I didn't have any. And I don't think that that's like a crazy thing. But anyway, we got to talk basketball. Before we do anything, though, I need to get some tunage on. So let's pull that up. All right, that's done. And then we need to talk a little bit about Prize Picks, presenting sponsor of this show. If you use the promo code Awesemo when you go sign up at Prize Picks, you can get up to $100 on your first deposit. We're talking about player props generally, or fantasy props, over-unders. This is what we're really looking for here. We've got Odds Shopper. We've got player prop tools on Awesemo.com that will greatly help you out on Prize Picks. I'm even getting tagged and stuff on Prize Picks. People trying to get there early. So if you want to go check out Prize Picks, and you should, $100 on your first $100 deposit if you use the promo code Awesemo. Yep, Achua, I don't really think I got to all that much in the end. Maybe I did. It wasn't one of my... Sadiq Bey is what killed me. So you guys can see it here. This is the table of the 10 guys that I had that were most over the field. I basically had Simons everywhere. Really was hoping for a bit more there. But Sadiq Bey was my biggest issue. He was 26 points shy of his 5x plus 10. Wiggins was also not all that great. I liked him as a interesting play heading into the late games if he was dinged up a bit. But tons of 23% Metu worked out well. 36% Jaren Jackson worked out well. Chris Paul, Scotty Barnes, Rashawn Holmes. I'm really happy with all of those plays. Sadiq Bey, though, just not the dude yesterday. So that was my top 10 guys in terms of how over the field I was. And then on the opposite side, my bottom 10 guys of how under the field I was. I had some McCollum and I had some Nurk, and that was fine. But only one lineup with Alec Burks was not helpful. I dodged... I didn't refresh this table after LeBron got ruled out, but I was super light on Nance, no Curry, only 8% Precious, so that really all worked out pretty well. DSJ didn't really matter if I had Simons, and then half the field on Brooks. I would have liked to be a little bit higher, but dodged that LaMarcus Aldridge stink bomb. Honestly, I'm really, really happy with my stands and stuff. I just didn't have the correct combination when push came to shove. This is the group here that really hurt me. Healed, Horton Tucker, Booker, and Sadiq Bey. That was the spot, like that was the position I missed, and those were all guys that I was like pretty sizably heavy on. Because Barnes, Harden, Siakam, Jackson, Simons to a degree, that all worked. Anyway, that's enough about last night. We're on to today. Atlanta Hawks, 1.5 point underdogs in Indy. Did I write that? Is that right? I guess it's right. So we've got no Bogdan Bogdanovic, no DeAndre Hunter, no Onyeka Okongwu, Q tag on Cam Reddish, and if I remember correctly, oh god, I'm gonna sneeze. I don't think it's good for Reddish. Game time decision already. I'm gonna sneeze. There it is. Yeah, I would have liked to have more Burks. I gave him 32 minutes. I just wasn't comfortable with what they were actually going to do. But the moment that you lose RJ Barrett and all three of those guys are just going to play a ton, I knew I was dead in the water. Well, not dead in the water, but like I knew that wasn't a stand that I was happy with. All right, let's hash through Atlanta. So we're taking Bogdanovich off. I mean, I guess we're leaving Cam Reddish on for right now. Not that I feel like super comfortable about it. Bogdanovich left that last one on Saturday early. So Trae Young's minutes seem fine at 34. Lou Will as a backup. Let's take Solomon Hill's minutes out of there. We've got 31 to Kevin Huerter. That seems about right to me. 34 for John Collins. 31 for Clint Capella. I don't really have much that I want to change there. I mean, I guess I should probably go to like 32 on Capella. It's probably not the worst idea. I don't really see Gallo playing much more than like 24 minutes. We'll get Reddish up to 26. Who knows? Solomon Hill probably just falls into a pretty sizable chunk of this time. And then maybe TLC. Yeah. Gambit, I hope you're right, man. I hope it's me, too. I think that I could just leave these rates as is for right now. Bogdanovich isn't really going to sway anything. I want to drink more coffee. Let's be clear here. This looks good. Somebody doesn't want to hear me slurping my coffee on the stream. I don't understand, man. This goes back in time. This is 5 years of coffee slurping on these shows. Because really, the process show is just my old original videos. Not a lot to like for Atlanta on the FanDuel side. A little bit more to like on the DraftKings side. We're going to get into that in a bit. Let's keep it moving. We'll go to Boston now. Or not Boston, sorry. Indy. That's who Atlanta's playing. Yeah, I'm out of it today. Not enough sleep. Not enough sleep. Nate, good morning. Good to see you. 90 viewers, 40 likes. Guys, if you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, do so. You're here. You're here. 50 of you haven't done it yet. All right, on the Pacers side, what do we know? We've got no Justin Holiday, health and safety protocols, Q tag on Miles Turner, and then still no TJ Warren. So I think we have to put Miles Turner back in, which means that I'm going to take everybody out of this rotation, since we also have to remove Justin Holiday. It is free to hit that like button. That's a good point. So we'll go 29 minutes to Turner. I'm just going to assume that Goga Batadze is not playing center. That way we can get Domantas Sabonis up to 35 minutes. That works. Malcolm Brogdon easily in for 36. That's just what he plays every time the game is close. We get backup run to TJ McConnell plus another 12. We got to give Karis LeVert. I mean, he's been playing significantly bigger minutes in close games, so I'm going to 32 for LeVert. We're going to go to... I mean, if Justin Holiday's not playing, it feels like Chris Duarte is playing 30 minutes. The rest of this should sort of hash itself out. Who else are we missing? So we don't normally see Justin Holiday be out. Torrey Craig seems like a guy that's just going to get a bigger chunk of time. You know, in theory, it seems like O'Shea Brissett would play today, but they don't appear to play him ever. I'm going to end up getting so much Karis LeVert today. It's going to be insane. All right, Keelan Martin seems to be in for like a good 20 to 22. I think that Torrey Craig is going to play a pretty big chunk, and then someone steps into this rotation. Whether that's Jeremy Lamb or O'Shea Brissett, I don't think it matters all that much. I'm going to say that it's Brissett today, but I don't think it doesn't change anything. All of the rates are going to stay the same for me, which means that this team is about to become a real problem. Do I still have the crunch workbook up? No, I don't. Bang. Xwody says, Levert used to be good. What happened? Well, here's the thing. He was never really good. That's problem number one. And I want to be clear here. That's not a slight on Karis LeVert, but I think we throw around the word good too much, and I don't think that he's ever really been anything other than an average NBA player. All right, here we go. Atlanta, there's nothing for me on FanDuel. Like, John Collins is fine. Trae Young's fine. Clint Capella's fine. Kevin Huerter's fine. No priorities. I'd say that John Collins for 6,900 on DraftKings is the only mild priority out of Atlanta. So, I mean, it's just not true that he's good. That's the thing. Good is just not the right descriptive word here. But like, if we look at, we're talking about a guy who has basically never been efficient. He came in his rookie year. His true shooting was slightly above average. Way below. Like, I mean, he's a super inefficient volume guy, and that's not helpful. Assists are down, which isn't helpful. But, I mean, his best season ever, he's been worth 3 wins. That's like $9-10 million. He's like a mid-level exception type guy. He's not young either. Age 27 season. So, was never good. Look, I was shouting from the rooftops at that point that Spencer Dinwiddie was the best player on that Nets team. Nobody wanted to listen to me then. It's very true now. All right, Atlanta's tough. Indy. And we got to keep this one moving because we are 18 minutes in and this is game 1. Now, Indy's a way different ball of wax or whatever that saying is. Malcolm Brogdon is 7,200 on FanDuel. I'm going to play a ton of him. Karis LeVert is 5,400 on both sites. He's going to be one of the best plays on the slate if you're projecting him. And you can see, I added a new column here. Not that anybody's going to care. This is what my projected true shooting would be for a player. I think it's helpful to see that if somebody's having like a really good year or a bad year, I want to see what their actual baseline is. So I project Karis LeVert at a 52% true shooting, but he's just shooting a ton. Now I'm gonna walk this usage rate down a little bit because I think the 29.5 isn't super representative for him right now. Like, if I put Brogdon on, which he is for all but 12 minutes of the game, Karis LeVert's usage rate is significantly lower than where I had it. So I do want to make that distinction that it is a little bit too high. But even still, lots of Karis LeVert, lots of Malcolm Brogdon today. Miles Turner, if he plays on DraftKings, looks pretty good at 5,900. Gambit, true shooting is basically like if all shots were equal. So like if basically like how many points per shot attempt is really like the easiest way to describe it. I'll show you the formula. So you're taking your close. Points divided by field goal attempts plus half your free throws times 2. You want to know how many points are you basically getting for every shot that you're taking. So you want 2-pointers and 3-pointers and free throws to all count the same. You just want to know how efficiently you obtain points. So basically, if you see that Karis LeVert is a true shooting 52%, you can just sort of double that for points per shot attempt. So he's like 1.04 points per shot attempt. That's bad. That's really bad. At 27% usage. Not helpful. It is the first stat that I look at for any type of scoring. To me, one of the most important things you'll see. There's nothing, it's like on base. True shooting is like on base percentage for baseball. There's nothing more important than getting on base, and there's nothing more important than just being efficient, generally speaking. So that's where we're at. Game 2. Denver Nuggets at the Orlando Magic. And this Denver team is so shorthanded. If you ever want to know how bad Orlando is, Denver's an 8.5-point favorite in Orlando, and half of Denver is missing. So we'll start on the Denver side. Yeah, so yes, Chris Duarte is that bad. Chris Duarte has also played like 150 minutes in basketball. I mean, that's low, but like he's also a rookie. So there's bigger error bars on Chris Duarte's future. And again, that's just like representative of right now, not moving forward. So you expect Chris Duarte to grow and get better because he's a rookie. You don't necessarily expect a lot of movement on someone like Karis LeVert. But yeah, even like a lot of this rookie class, like you could be excited for their future. People are losing their minds over some of these guys, and they're not having particularly efficient times. Like Duarte, for example, yeah, 51% true shooting, but you're happy to see that he's shooting 37% from three, but he hasn't been all that good. I mean, here's another one. People are freaking out over Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes has a 54% true shooting. Like, they're getting a lot out of a young, he's 20 years old. He's playing great defense. He's rebounding the basketball well. He's basically neutral in true shooting. That's actually like a good thing for right now. But for people that think that Scotty Barnes is having like a really good season, he's not. And that's probably like a super controversial thing to talk about. You can see the promise of where this is going. And you're so much happier with what you're getting out of Scotty Barnes this season than what you would have expected. But it hasn't been nearly as good as people think it has been. Who else? Like Mobley, I believe, is a little bit different. He's like actually going crazy. He is like, look at that. He is providing elite level defense right now. To me, they're not close. Because Evan Mobley is legitimately changing things on defense, and that is showing up in advanced plus minus. So Evan Mobley is my current rookie of the year. Let's finish off Denver. All right, so we're 23 minutes in, and I've done one game. Time to laser focus. All right, on Denver, we know things aren't necessarily great around these parts. But it seems like we're probably just going to have like the same rotation we normally do. So let's say we're going to get JaMychal Green back in there. Cantor, that's very true. That jump shot was very broken. All right, so Aaron Gordon probably needs to play like another minute here. Get him up to 34. That's where we have Jokic. Oh yeah, we had Bones Highland back. That was helpful. Austin Rivers played a little bit less. I mean, these minutes are pretty much just exactly what we expect. So I don't really have any Denver changes to make. So let's move it over to Orlando. Denver's just what they were the last time out. We know their starting rotation and the backups don't really matter on a slate like this. Orlando, on the other hand, is going to be a very different story. Unfortunately, actually, since Denver plays so slow, maybe Orlando actually just sucks here. Cole Anthony back, Franz Wagner back, Jalen Suggs. I know he messed up his thumb, so he's going to be out for a while. So we're going to take Suggs out. We're going to bring Anthony back in. And then this is just going to get really confusing. So Cole Anthony has missed the past 6 games. I'm going to give him 32 minutes for this one. We still get Michael Mulder his minutes. RJ Hampton might play a little bit more. Bamba in for 29. Okay. Wendell Carter Jr. in for 28. I mean, I guess I got to go up a little bit there. Mo Wagner didn't play the last game. They went back to Iggy Brazdakis. That's interesting. We got 31 minutes for Franz Wagner. That continues to maintain. Chuma, I guess, can play a little bit more. Gary Harris is playing 30 minutes a game, so I do want to give him more time. And then I'm going to throw those extra minutes to Iggy Brazdakis. All right, so that's Orlando, but we do need to make a mild tweak to some of these rates because Cole Anthony being back is important. So I'm going to gut everything here. God, this whole team is garbage. Garbage. But there's a lot of usage to go around here. So first up, with no Suggs on the floor, Cole Anthony's got a 28% usage rate this year. Assist rate goes up as well. It still doesn't even look all that good. Next up from usage, RJ Hampton gets to 21. And I think the rest of these guys are just going to like fall into line. I don't really have anybody else I want to tweak here. Terrence Ross, I guess, can go down to 19.5. But I don't really need to touch Bamba or Carter. Gary Harris seems fine. This Orlando, I mean, this is just a gross game because Denver, the slowest team in basketball, dead last. Orlando is 8th. So this is a massive pace down spot for Orlando. So for Denver, it's Jokic and nobody else, basically. Only priority here is Jokic. I got Jokic at 1.8 fantasy points per minute in this game. Dude is legit. On the Orlando side, nothing on FanDuel. You know, Cole Anthony's all right. It looks a little bit better on DraftKings. Mo Bamba's okay on DK, but just center eligible. Not ideal. That's an ugly game. I hope it doesn't stay close. Minnesota at Washington. Minnesota 3.5-point dogs, 215 total here for the Wizards. Wizards normal rotation here on Minnesota. No Pat Bev. We don't know the status of Anthony Edwards, Jared Vanderbilt, or Jaden McDaniels. They all have flu-like symptoms, which is interesting. I think we just have to assume that everybody is in this game. So I'm going to take out all of the minutes of people that I don't trust. Because last time we saw no McDaniels, no Vanderbilt. We saw Josh Okogie play like a ton of time. I don't think that's what's going to happen here. What's up, Crispy? So 35 minutes for Towns. Naz Reid getting the backup plus a little extra seems fine. I can take a lot of those Torian Prince minutes away and feel a lot better about myself. McDaniels needs to get to 24. Jared Vanderbilt needs to get to 26. Backup point guard run. We get Balmaro in there. And then we get Prince. And that's it. Nope. Cannot give him 26 minutes. Otherwise, I'm going to get him. So 24. We'll go 23. I do not want Torian Prince to be showing up for anything that I do. 4 spillovers to Okogie. Who the hell knows? There's a little bit to like for Minnesota, but it's the same guys as usual. Minnesota, so Washington on the other side. Oh, don't worry. You're not playing a Koji today. You can get the injury report from NBA.com. By the way, Cabriolet. Can't imagine we're changing anything here for Washington. I mean, they run the same shit every night. Yeah, we're good there. So we can quickly look at Minnesota. 701, 140 viewers, 85 likes. You guys picked it up a little bit. If you hit that thumbs up again, we're going to be dangerously close to 100 likes right around the turn of the hour. So on Minnesota, I'm liking Towns and Edwards on FanDuel. Not all that much on DraftKings. They're okay. Nothing too crazy so far. There's another reason why I think like D'Angelo Russell is sort of like the Karis LeVert of Minnesota. Poor true shooting, high usage. Same sort of situation for Anthony Edwards, just younger and better defensively than Russell by a mile. Yeah, Towns on FanDuel. Not too much else here for Minnesota. Obviously Minnesota changes greatly if they have to reappropriate the 90 minutes I have going to Edwards, Vanderbilt, and McDaniels, but we can't really pay attention to that right now. On Washington, basically nothing on FanDuel, no priorities. Beal, Kuzma, Dinwiddie are like the guys you look at. DraftKings is a little bit different, though. Beal is 9K. You get point guard, shooting guard. I think that's pretty interesting for him for the first time in a while. Kuzma, small forward, power forward, 6,200. I think he looks pretty good. And then Dinwiddie for 6K. Like, that's... You're not getting a lot of minutes out of Dinwiddie, but it's a good spot. This is a game, though, you have to pay attention to. Luckily, it's a 7 o'clock start, and that should help out quite a bit. Let's get out of game number 3. On to Philly and Boston. 2-point dogs here for the Sixers. 211 total. That's a good question, Gambit. So, true shooting is actually down right now in the NBA. So, what I can show you is that current league average true shooting is 55%, which is helpful to know. But last year, true shooting, 57%. I know that sounds like ridiculous, but 57 down to 55 is a pretty big drop in a season. Now, it will go slightly up as the season starts to move on, but yeah, right now 55% true shooting is the benchmark. That's what you want to know. Alrighty, let's get back into this. Philly. I think we know what's going on with Philly, right? Yeah, everybody's just available for Philly again. And then Boston. Gambit, actually, I think it's because of free throws. Because free throws are generally speaking like super ultra efficient shots to take. And since that volume is down, I think it's slightly lowering true shooting. Anything interesting for Boston? Q tag on Jaylen Brown. Everybody else available. All right, so this one should be pretty easy to at least project. I don't really see anything I want to change from a minutes perspective. I mean, I guess in a competitive game, I think Embiid plays 33. And I guess in a competitive game, I think that Tyrese Maxey plays a little bit more. But like Niang is going to be the backup. I guess, again, Tobias Harris in a competitive game, I think plays 34. So what we're only really worried about here are the starters. Not much we're going to look at here for Philly. This is a tough spot just in general. This is a tough slate so far. On the Boston side, I feel like I have Jaylen Brown out right now. No, I don't. Just lower minutes. Oh, but we have Schroeder. Yeah, I got to start the Boston rotation over. That's fine. That's easy. So first up, we get Time Lord, who is back, but has only played one game in his last 2+ weeks. So I don't get the sense he's going to be out there for a ton. I'm going to give him 26 minutes. We'll see what that actually ends up meaning. We'll give Horford the backup run. But even Horford without Time Lord isn't playing all that much. I'll go to 28. I don't even know if I should. I mean, last 4 games have all been minimal. I think 28 seems about right, though. Let's get Dennis Schroeder in for, 34, right? I mean, this is a guy that's been playing a ton of minutes with guys. I mean, as Jaylen Brown comes back more, I guess those minutes go up a little bit, but, 33 for Schroeder seems right. And then maybe backup run to Rome. We get Marcus Smart in for his 33. We give Langford can stay there, I guess. Grant Williams, I assume, was playing a little bit more with Time Lord out, so maybe like 16. We get Tatum to 36. We get Jaylen Brown to, let's see, he's played 23, 24, 27, 27. I'm going to say 30 for Jaylen Brown here. That leaves me 23 minutes for at least one guy, if not two. Peyton Pritchard was the guy that was in the rotation this last game, but there was no Schroeder, so that makes a little bit more sense. When Schroeder was back, it was Aaron Nesmith. I don't totally know. Oh, I haven't given Josh Richardson minutes. There we go. Now we're good. 23 minutes to Richardson, and we're done here. So that's Boston. This is not going to be like a particularly fun team to get to. I mean, they look terrible too. This slate is looking hard, which I'm really happy about. So on Philly, Embiid for 10-1 on FanDuel or 10-7 on DraftKings. Like, he clearly looks okay. I don't have a ton of interest in Maxey or Tobias Harris right now. And then on Boston, I mean, they look even worse. Maybe a little Jason Tatum. Not all that appealing to me. And the rest of the team looks bad. I have not talked about a lot of good plays so far, and we are 4 games into this. Morning, Theodore. This is not a good slate, and I don't think that this game is going to make it any better. Cleveland at Miami. Cleveland 7.5-point dogs, 204.5 total. That is bad. No Chetty, no Dean Wade, which is fine. And then on the Miami side, Q tag on Butler, Bam, Deadman. Oh my God. Okay. Well, that'll be fun. So for Cleveland, I guess this is just going to look a lot like their last game did. So we've got Garland in for 36 minutes. Yes. Ricky Rubio in for 28. Yes. 35 for Jared Allen. Yes. 20 for Kevin Love. Yes-ish. Evan Mobley, 34. Markkanen, I got in for 32. Probably need to go an extra minute there. Isaac Okoro in for 32. That's probably a little too high. Could get Dylan Windler a couple more minutes. But, I mean, it's not fun roster in Cleveland. That much I could tell you. On the Miami end of it all, I guess I got to get Hero back in and just assume that everybody's playing. So let's get Gabe Vincent out of there, Caleb Martin out of there, Duncan Robinson out of there, Okpala out of there, Strus out of there. So Bam's minutes look fine at 34. We got to get Gabe Vincent in as some sort of backup run. We get Hero in for 32 minutes. Duncan goes in for 28. We got PJ Tucker in for 28. We got Butler in for 36 if it's close. And then just 23 minutes for Max Strus. Oh, we got to get Caleb Martin in there too. Who gets cut from this rotation then? I mean, Strus was the guy that got cut Tuesday, Wednesday. So maybe that's who it is again? Let's deal with that, I guess, the way that we have to. So I'm going to give Caleb Martin 18 minutes. 5 more to Gabe Vincent. That sounds about right. Rates can all stay the same. No, they cannot, actually. Not that it matters because we're not going to be getting to these guys, but we do want to update because I forgot those guys were out last time. 100 likes, too. You guys are the best. So, Kyle Lowry can kill those rates again. Jimmy Butler this season, 28% usage rate. Slightly lower assist rate. And no change to rebounding. Bam Adebayo on the season, 26% usage rate. I know his assist rate is down considerably. That'll make a big change. So only 3 guys really matter. I guess I need to lock in Heroes rates too. 29% usage rate this season. Everything else looks fine. What a gross game. This is really, really hard. So on Cleveland, no double-digit booms again. Like, we're talking about really, really uninteresting plays. I don't have any priorities from Cleveland. On the Miami side, I think Jimmy Butler looks good on both sites. 9,200 on FanDuel, 9,300 on DraftKings. I think Bam looks good on FanDuel for 7,700 with power forward eligibility. And that's kind of it. I mean, that's the 5th game, right? Yeah, so we're through 5 games. Just to look through everything that we've done so far. Like, Jokic looks good. Malcolm Brogdon and LeVert both look really good on FanDuel. You've got like this little area of multiple centers, Embiid and Towns, Butler, Bam, and Anthony Edwards if he plays. And that's it on FanDuel. Everything else is gross. On DraftKings, you get Jokic, LeVert, and Brogdon again. And then even like Dinwiddie and Kuzma are just passable. This is really hard. Now, I think people are going to pop a lot here. Charlotte at Milwaukee. The Hornets are 8.5-point dogs, 230 total. That is huge. Because Charlotte, the second fastest team in basketball. Milwaukee is 11th. So this has got a pretty big pace on it. Let's look at Charlotte now and see what happens. On the Hornets side, no Mason Plumlee, still Cody Martin questionable. And then on the Milwaukee side, no Lopez, no Dante DiVincenzo. DeMarcus Cousins probable, as is Jordan Nwora. And now they also cut Justin Robinson, I believe, and signed Javonte Smart. So we'll see if that matters. I definitely don't have Javonte Smart in my database. All right, so for Charlotte, the Q tag on Cody Martin is interesting because that really affects like the Kelly Oubres of the world. If it's an illness, I'm assuming he's playing then, which means that we got to bring Cody Martin back up to like his normal 20-something minutes. So we get Ish Smith out of there. LaMelo's minutes can stay. Terry Rozier's minutes can stay. PJ Washington I have in for 26. That needs to go up. So I'm going to take Hayward out, Oubre out, Jalen McDaniels out, Nick Richards out. We're going to take PJ Washington to 30 minutes. I don't want to go too high because that's going to scare the shit out of me. We saw Nick Richards basically get one rotation. I'm going to say that he also does that again today. And then Jalen McDaniels plays something in the neighborhood of 22. We get Miles Bridges in for 36. That's traditional. We get Gordon Hayward in for 34, which feels a little high, but he's been playing it. Oubre has played 30 plus in 3 out of the last 4. Makes me feel like I got to do that. So we get Oubre to 30 and then 15 for Cody Martin. Like, I don't like that. The only other alternative would be for Nick Richards to not play. But at that point, they'd be going to an 8-man rotation. Now, they went to an 8-man rotation in this last game, but it included Nick Richards. Previously, they were at 9. They were at 9 here. They were at 10 here. I just don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they went to 8. But at the same time, I think Nick Richards does eat some time, and Cody Martin is not all that interesting. I shouldn't have to change any rates. These should all just be the same from what we had. Although, I do kind of need to enter in Jalen McDaniels' usage rate, which is 14.5. That looks fine. Now we look on the Milwaukee side. I think Giannis is going to pop pretty hard here. Now, I don't expect DeMarcus Cousins to play, but maybe he does. I'm going to slot him into this spot right now. So maybe he is going to get a little bit of time. It's probably not the worst idea in the world. They kind of do need a little bit of size. So I'm going to take Rodney Hood out of there for right now. Now let's figure out, and Jordan Wara, who I guess hasn't been playing all that much. So I'm going to leave Portis in for 30. I'm going to say that Cousins gets like 2 normal rotations. We get Giannis back up to 34. We've got Middleton in for 33. Feels a tad high. Let's put him in for 32. We've got Pat Connaughton for 28. That's right. We've got George Hill in for 22. Actually, might be a little low. Get them 24. Grayson Allen in for 29. Yep. So I got 18 minutes left over. That just goes to Rodney Hood. Drew Holiday in for 33. Feeling good. Cousins isn't getting 20 minutes. Barring injuries. Just not happening. All right, so for Charlotte, PJ Washington is 4,900 on FanDuel. If you are not jamming him in at power forward center, you're doing something wrong today. One of the better plays you're going to see. Miles Bridges, I think, looks pretty solid on both sites. LaMelo Ball looks good enough on DraftKings and pretty good on FanDuel. Gordon Hayward looks solid on DraftKings at 6,300. Jack H, I don't think so. I don't think Cousins should affect anything for anybody. There's a reason he wasn't on a team. They just don't have any centers. They had no legitimate centers on this team, and they needed somebody to just eat some minutes so that Giannis didn't have to play center forever. But let's remember here, DeMarcus Cousins isn't good. He's legitimately probably bad, if we want to describe him in any sort of way. And he hasn't been anything of value in years. Like, don't forget. For the Clippers last year, he wasn't good. For Golden State, he was okay-ish. He really hasn't been good since 2018. So I would be shocked if DeMarcus Cousins was named the starter. I wouldn't even plan for it. I would only give him like 18 minutes, and he's still not somebody that I'd be all that interested in on this slate. 3 games to go. Dallas Mavericks at the New Orleans Pelicans. And for this one, Dallas is a 3.5 point favorite, 212 total. So let's take a look at Dallas and New Orleans and see what we need to know from an injury perspective. On Dallas, Q tag on Porzingis, no Willie Cauley-Stein, no Frank Ntilikina. I'm assuming Porzingis is playing until he's not. And then for New Orleans, business as usual. Yeah, Boob. The problem there is that I don't think that he could play 20 minutes. All right, so let's look at Dallas. And again, I assume we're just moving forward with Kristaps Porzingis like normal. I don't have Willie Cauley-Stein in the rotation for today. That's fine. For some reason, they started Moses Brown and played 11 minutes last time. That certainly doesn't make a ton of sense to me, but let's figure out what we need to do there. Dwight Powell is now still just playing like 10 minutes a game. So we'll do something like that. 30 minutes for Dorian Finney-Smith. Yep. 26 for Maxey. Yep. Luka in for 36. Jalen Brunson in for 30. Maybe. Not a ton to really worry about here. I guess Trey Burke probably back out of the rotation. I don't know who for. So maybe not. That's a 10-man rotation. It doesn't really matter at the bottom here. Oh, Josh Green finally got some minutes this year. I think we're fine with what we've got for Dallas. Don't really need to change any rates either. On to the Pels. Oh, I skipped the Bucks here. I did skip the Bucks here. Giannis looks fantastic, although I do prefer Jokic to him in a raw point sense. But Giannis has small forward, power forward on FanDuel, which is just so wrong. It's ridiculous. He should not have small forward at all. He'd be closer to just having center this season. Drew and Bobby Portis both look okay as well, as does Middleton. There's a lot to like here for Milwaukee because of how fast Charlotte plays. Now, on the Pelicans side, good eye, by the way, on that one, SMP. So, I do want to try to consolidate this a bit. Devontae Graham in for 30 minutes, I think I'm okay with. Satoransky as a backup, we're going to take that down to 12. Kira Lewis also needs to be around 12. We've got Nickeil Alexander-Walker in for 26. That's about right for right now. Willie Hernan-Gomez as the backup center to Joval. That's fine. Ingram in for 36. That's fine. Josh Hart in for 34. I take that to 33. I'm going to take Garrett Temple's minutes out. Herb Jones's minutes out. So I got 43 minutes for Temple and Herb Jones. Herb Jones is going to get those 12. And we need to take him up to 30 at least. 31 maybe. So 19 there. And then 12 for Garrett Temple. All right, that'll work. So we're in for the Pels. Rates stay the same. Let's look at this one. Dallas. I like Luka, but I don't like him as much as I like Giannis or Jokic, so that's going to be a tough sell. Obviously, if Porzingis is out, maybe Maxey looks a little bit more interesting. Otherwise, I think Jalen Brunson for 5K on DraftKings is a tad underpriced. And if Porzingis is playing, 8,200 for him on DK isn't bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. And then on the Pelicans, a little bit more here. Ingram for 7,400 on FanDuel is a nice price. 7,500 on DraftKings looks pretty good. I think there's some value in like Josh Hart and Devontae Graham. Again, this slate is really hard. Oh no, here we go. All right, guys, I deserve this one. If you guys can hit the like button for me, I have to now talk about the Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder again, and this is painstaking. So I need all of whatever boost you guys can give me. I could really appreciate it because this is terrible. So no Jalen Green, no DJ Augustine, no Usman Garuba. We know all of that stuff. This is actually pretty easy for Houston. Oklahoma City's got no Derek Favors, no Kenrich Williams, Q tag on Mike Muscala. So for Houston, 33 minutes for Kevin Porter Jr. I'm going to make that 34. We got to remember, Kevin Porter Jr. and Christian Wood were 50-something% owned on Monday in the same matchup. Something to think about. I actually want to cut this entire rotation and do it from scratch because I don't want to be wrong. Christian Wood for 33 minutes seems fine. Şengün as the backup seems fine. We've got Porter in as the point guard. Backup point guard on this team is what? Armani Brooks? Is that the technical backup here? So it's Porter off here. All right, so it's Eric Gordon is playing the straight backup point guard run. That actually makes some sense to me. But Eric Gordon is the straight sub for KPJ, which is pretty wild to think about. But also really good to know. They're staggering Eric Gordon and letting him play with the second unit. And he's the only guy that's doing that. That matters. Sort of. It would have mattered a lot more if this wasn't this team. So Eric Gordon's playing like 32 minutes a game. We'll give him his 18. Kenyon Martin just sort of plays like 18 minutes a game, so that's fine. Daniel House plays like 18 to 20 minutes a game, so that's fine. Then we can get Jayshawn Tate in for his 28. At which point we need to go to 30 for Garrison Matthews, 32 for Garrison Matthews, something like that. 30 feels about right. And that leaves me 30 additional minutes for Armani Brooks and someone. Because that's not, well, that's 9, honestly. That's sort of the rotation. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so that's 9. Spill over to Josh Christopher. He seems to be the guy that's like most likely to see that time. So that's Houston. And we're going to KPJ again, that's for sure. Oklahoma City. Oh my God, I hate this so much. So we've got Giddey in for 32 minutes. Yep. We get Shea in for 34. Yep. Trey Mann played 30. Not exactly what I expect to happen moving forward. 28 for Jeremiah Robinson Earl. Might be a little high. Isaiah Roby played 26 minutes. Obviously. Muscala is questionable. I'm leaving him in. Lou Dort in for 34. Baisley in for 30. I think that's all that I could really do here. So we're going to leave Oklahoma City basically as is. At which point... Oh, God. Houston. Kevin Porter Jr., 6,800 on FanDuel, point guard, small forward. He's going to be like 40-something% owned again. 7,400 on DraftKings looks good. Christian Wood is solid on both sites. I don't think that we're really going to anybody else from Houston. On Oklahoma City, stop me if you've heard this before, but we're going to be going to Josh Giddey at shooting guard on FanDuel for 6,500 and 6,600. We're going to Shea and Dort and Baisley to a degree, and none of it's fun, but those are really the 4 guys that you look at, plus a very minimal amount of Jeremiah Robinson Earl. I mean, Darius Baisley is bad. They really need to excise him from this rotation. That's really the biggest issue here. Honestly, I don't... I don't know what to do with Giddey any longer, but I guess play him is the answer. Final game. The Sacramento Kings taking on the LA Clippers. Kings on the back-to-back. We've got a Q tag on Harrison Barnes, Q tag on Mo Harkless, Q tag on Marvin Bagley. Feels like Barnes isn't going to play the second half of this. Just me. Don't know, though. Just, it doesn't feel like it. Bagley got sick, right? I don't totally know how to project the Sacramento team right now. I'm going to assume that Bagley plays today. I'm going to assume that Tristan Thompson and Alex Len continue to split center minutes in some sort of stupid, weird way. Although Tristan Thompson didn't play yesterday. They went to just Holmes and Len for the most part. So Fox's minutes are fine. Davion Mitchell's minutes seem fine-ish. Halliburton seems fine at 30. I'm going to go 33. I've got Terrence Davis in for 19. Yeah, I don't mind 27 on Metu. I think it really depends on the status of Bagley and well, definitely depends on the status of Harkless. I don't really see anything else I need to change here. $31 for Buddy Hield. Yeah, like I'm okay with all of these minutes. Metu looks good. But again, that's all going to be based on the status of Mo Harkless at the very least. It's hard to speculate right now in Sacramento. On the Clippers side, this one's probably a little bit easier. We've got no Nick Batum. Everything else is normal. Marcus Morris still in here. So I don't really see a lot of changes that need to be made. We've got Zubats in for minimal minutes. Isaiah Hartenstein, nothing too crazy. Serge Ibaka basically plays a little bit. We've got Marcus Morris in for 30. Paul George, Terrence Mann all playing their same sort of normal minutes. Amir Coffey playing some sort of minimal run. So no real change here for the Clippers, which means we're basically done. Sacramento's got Fox on FanDuel at 7,600. It's got Metu on DraftKings at 3,800. We'll see where we end up there. For some reason, Metu is just center eligible on FanDuel. So stupid. Doesn't make a ton of sense to me. On the Clippers side, Paul George, 8,600 on FanDuel. Looks really good. 10-2 on DraftKings, a bit less so. Especially with the prices on some of these other guys. Reggie Jackson and Marcus Morris both look pretty good on DraftKings. But this slate looks very, very difficult. I don't think that this is going to be easy tonight. And I'm happy about that. I prefer it. Let's run some optimals and figure out where we stand, though. So this is going to be FanDuel optimals. And if you haven't hit the like button yet, please do so. What does the optimal on FanDuel look like for right now? 7:34 a.m. Malcolm Brogdon, Kevin Porter, Paul George, Josh Giddey, Karis LeVert, Darius Bazley, PJ Washington, Marcus Morris, Nikola Jokic. Okay, so at the very least, I like this lineup, other than Bazley, because I think Bazley sucks. But he's also in a matchup against Houston, and, just 2 games ago at 5,400, he scored 30. Like, that's not ideal, but he can get to that sort of area in a shit matchup like this. So this is where we stand. You can drop down 0.4 of a point if you want. You swap out Let's see. PJ Washington for Grayson Allen. And Marcus Morris for somebody else? No. So it's Marcus Morris. No, Baisley's the same. So it really is just Grayson Allen in for Marcus Morris. Is that right? Yeah, 0.5 of a point. Okay, there we go. Power rankings on FanDuel. This should be a treat. I'm not sure what this is going to look like. This should be fun. It's going to be gross. That much we know. Well, Karis LeVert looking like he's going to be at the top. Oh, he got run down by PJ Washington. That makes sense. Man, it looks so good until you get to that Darius Baisley, Josh Giddey area. I think that I'm going to have to do something about Baisley's projection. I think I've got him projected way too high today. I'm going to take 1 minute off of Baisley. So if I take 1 minute off of Baisley, get him down to 29. Because I don't trust that at all right now. There we go. Let's see what this looks like now without Darius Baisley being one of the most popular plays of the day. Yep. Well, C-Dollar. That's one stance to take. Yeah, it's looking like PJ Washington on FanDuel is going to be at the top, and that's not all that surprising given the price and the eligibility. We got Paul George, second. Karis LeVert, Malcolm Brogdon, Kevin Porter, Nikola Jokic. Then we get to Giddey, Fox, Dort, Baisley, Reggie Jackson, D'Angelo Russell. It is bleak to start the day. That much is true. Let's see how ugly it is on DraftKings, because I think DraftKings pricing was even more disgusting than FanDuel's pricing was. So buckle up here. I think we're going to see some ugliness. All right. Wow. All right, 289.6 by 0.2 of a point. LeVert, Brunson, Giddey on DraftKings, PJ Washington, Jokic, Brogdon, Metu, Devontae Graham. That's awful. That is legitimately awful. Yee, gads. You can swap Jalen Brunson in, or Chris Duarte in for Jalen Brunson, Dort for Devontae Graham, and be within 2 points, but blech. I don't want to roster anything I just saw there. Power rankings on DraftKings before we get out of here. Oh boy. No, this is not fun. Not fun at all. Looking like Karis LeVert is going to be at the top of the heap on DraftKings. Kyle Kuzma, Malcolm Brogdon, Lou Dort, Chimezie Metu, Reggie Jackson, Giddey somehow, Nikola Jokic, Jalen Brunson, Miles Bridges, Jeremiah Robinson Earl. Whew. I mean, the pay-up options are rough. Jokic looking like the best option. That's fine. I don't know how you ever go to someone like Joel Embiid on a day like today. Anush, I would say none of them, but I guess Duarte. But the answer of which Indiana guy is the best play on FanDuel with Holiday out is Karis LeVert. This is hard. This is a really, really difficult slate at this moment. We'll see what news does, but whew, that was not fun to do. We're an hour and 10 minutes in. Thank you very much to the 200 people that are here now, hanging out, kicking it as we do these builds. This is a hard slate, man. news could, if news starts opening things up and we can start working our way into this like high 8s, low 9s range. But for right now, I mean, look at the exposures here. We get this is in order of salary. We got Jokic and Giannis in the optimal more than 10% of the time. No one else is in double digits. Barely anybody hit 8. I mean, we're talking like 3, 4, 4. How in the world do you build lineups when it's Trae Young 5, Towns 5, Sabonis 4, Butler 6, Joe Val 3, Jaylen Brown unowned, Beal 6, Wood 4, Fox 3. All of these guys that I'm naming are the same. So ownership in these situations, massive. Because if everybody looks the same, just don't play the guys that everybody else plays. And you'll immediately have a better lineup construction. Oh, that is a very hard slate. Very hard slate. I'm excited to talk through this slate with Adam on the strategy show today. By the way, Adam pulled a second on DraftKings in their big contest and lost out on first by Chimezie Metu's final rebound. Sorry, Adam. Rise and grind, everybody. It's good to see everybody here. Make sure you're hitting that like button on your way out the door. Contenders videos to follow, strategy show, and then I'm done for the day. I'll have my updates and everything later. But Liverpool, Merseyside derby, taking on Everton. Which way am I pointing? Right here. Trent, gonna be a big one. Love it. I appreciate all of you guys for being here. So thank you for that. Good luck tonight. Win some money. You know where we're going to be. Right here. 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. Tomorrow, 5-gamer. We could really dig in. Good luck tonight, everybody. Talk to you later. Oh, shout out to Prize Picks.